Diyos ug makagagahom nga Amahan, salamat sa mga grasya nga among nadawat, labi na sa gasa sa kinabuhi. Hinaot unta nga kami hatagan sa gasa sa pagsabot ug mahayagan ang among hunahuna ug among gilauman, ikaw magahatag kanamo sa proteksyon. Sa mga magtutudlo, magapadayon ang ilang kinasing-kasing nga pag-alagad. Una kami sa kalipay, aron mulambo ang tinuod na gugma ug kaluoy sa matag adlaw. Ining tanan among gilauman, sa ngalan ni Jesus, Amen. Bayang magiliw, perlas sa silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw. May dilagang tula at awit sa paglayo minamahal, ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niyang kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw nang luwalhati pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya ng pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
The Department of Education, Division of TANGKUB City, in partnership with the local government unit of TANGKUB, presents ang TANGKUB, transforming advancement in the new normal, guiding K-12 learners under broadcast media, a TV-based instructional program crafted in response to the need of making education possible and accessible to students at the comfort of their homes. It covers the most essential competencies thematically layered in drama plays, which were originally written, directed, and performed by teachers to see to it that education is securely provided. This is ang TANGKUB.
It's TANGKUB, TANGKUB, TANGKUB time. We learn all things, it's very fun, masaya. Tugtog na.
Kumusta mga bata? Sa dili pa nato sugdan ang atong pagtulunan karong adlaw, ato usang balikan ang mga letra nga ato nang nakatunan. Atong nakatunan ang letrang P nga dunay tingog nga P. Atong paminawon ang kanta mahitungod sa letrang P.
Magbasa na kita sa dakong letrang P. basahon ta siya. Magbasa na kita sa gamayng letrang P, basahon ta siya. P sama sa patintero, palo, sebo, pingpong og piko. Bisama sa porselana, panyo, pana ug papa. Magbasa na kita sa dakong letrang P, basahon ta siya. Basahon ta siya.
Mga bata, balika paglitok ang letrang P. Sakto! Balika na po't paglitok ang tingog sa letrang P. Maayo! Mga bata, ato usab nga nakatunan ang letrang A nga adunay tingog nga A. Karon mga bata, atong paminawon ang kanta mahitungod sa letrang A.
Magbasa na kita sa dakong letrang A, basahon ta siya. A, 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 A. Magbasa na kita sa gamayng letrang A, basahon ta siya. A, 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 A. Sama sa ampalaya, abukado, atis apa. Sama sa alindana, ahos, asin ug adlaw. Magbasa na kita sa dakong letrang A, basahon ta siya. A, 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 A. Basahon ta siya. A, 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 A.
Mga bata, balika paglitok ang letrang A. Sakto! Mga bata, usba na po't paglitok ang tingog sa letrang A. Maayo! Karon mga bata, ato nang sugdan ang atong pagtulunan karong adlaw. Andama ug paklia ang inyong self-learning materials, page 12. Diha inyong makita ang letrang P ug letrang A. Karon mga bata, paminawa ko ninyo kung unsaon ako pagbasa gamit ang tingog sa letrang P ug letrang A. A, pa. Akong usbon mga bata. A, pa. Akong balikon mga bata. A, pa. Akong usbon makausa mga bata. Pa. Karon mga bata, atong ilitok ang tingog sa letrang P o letrang A. Magdungan kita mga bata. Pa. Atong usbon mga bata. Pa. Balikon ta mga bata. Pa. Usba pa mga bata. Pa. Maayo. Karon mga bata, kamo na pud ang magbasa. Ilitok ang tingog sa letrang P o letrang A. Itudlo o basaha ang unang linya. Usba pa mga bata. Ilitok o basaha ang ikaduhang linya. Ilitok o basaha ang ikatulong linya mga bata. Tudlua o basaha ang ikaupat nga linya. Maayo! Karon mga bata, balikan na pud pagbasa. Ilitok ang tingog sa letrang P o letrang A. Usba pa mga bata. Ilitok o basaha ang ikaduhang linya. Ilitok o basaha ang ikatulong linya mga bata. Tudlua o basaha ang ikaupat nga linya. Nabuhat na ba ninyo mga bata? Maayo! Karon mga bata, paklia ang inyong self-learning materials, page 13. Ug atong basahon ang mga pulong nga makita. Tudlua ang unang linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon nako kini pagbasa. Ako si. Tudluan na pud ang ikaduhang linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon nako kini pagbasa. Ako si. Tudlua ang ikatulong linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon kini pagbasa. Ako si. Karon mga bata, tudlua pagbalik ang unang linya ug magdungan kita sa pagbasa. Ako si. Tudlua ang ikaduhang linya ug magdungan kita sa pagbasa. Ako si. Tudluan na pud ang ikatulong linya ug magdungan kita sa pagbasa. Ako si. Karon mga bata, tudlua pagbalik ang unang linya ug kamo na pud ang magbasa. Tudlua ug basaha ang ikaduhang linya mga bata. Tudluan na pud ug basaha ang ikatulong linya mga bata. Maayo mga bata! Karon, tudlua ang ikaupat nga linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon kini pagbasa. Ako si Mama. Tudlua ang ikaduhang linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon kini pagbasa. Ako si Mama. Itudlo ang ikaunom nga linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon kini pagbasa. Ako si Mama. Karon mga bata, tudlo a pagbalik ang ikaupat nga linya ug magdungan kita sa pagbasa. Ako si Mama. Tudluan na pod ang ikalimang linya ug pagdungan kita sa pagbasa. Ako si Mama. Tudlua ang ikaunom nga linya ug magdungan kita sa pagbasa. Ako si Mama. Karon mga bata, tudlua pagbalik ang ikaupat nga linya ug kamo na pod ang magbasa. Tudlua ang ikalima nga linya ug basaha ang mga pulong niini. Tudlua ug basaha ang ikaunom nga linya, mga bata. Sakto! Karon, tudluan na pod ang ikapito nga linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon kini pagbasa. Ako si Papa. Tudlua ang ikawalo nga linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon kini pagbasa. Ako si Papa. Tudlua ang katapusang linya ug paminawa ko kung unsaon kini pagbasa. Ako si Papa. Karon mga bata, balika pagtudlo ang ikapito nga linya ug magdungan kita sa pagbasa. Ako si Papa. Tudlua ang ikawalo nga linya ug magdungan kita sa pagbasa mga bata. Ako si Papa. Tudlua ang katapusang linya ug magdungan kita sa pagbasa. Ako si Papa. Karon mga bata, tudlua pagbalik ang ikapitong linya ug kamo na pod ang magbasa. Tudlua ug basaha ang ikawalong linya, mga bata. Tudlua ug basaha ang katapusang linya, mga bata. Maayo mga bata! Hantod sa sunod nga higayon mga bata. Daghang salamat! Enjoy!
Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayo. Sa duha tulo, upat lima unom, ang mati ay sayo. Addition o multiplication, subtraction o and division.
Magandang umaga mga bata! Kumusta kayo sa araw na ito? Handa na ba kayo sa ating panibagong leksyon? Ako si Teacher Popoy. Sa araw na ito, ating sisimulan ang ating panibagong leksyon sa Filipino. Mga bata, basahin natin ang mga pangalan ng mga larawan na nagsisimula sa titik P. Ang titik P ay may tunog na. Ngayon, kilalanin at babasahin natin ang mga pangalan na nasa larawan. Basahin natin ang pangalan ng payong, pako, paru-paro, palaka, pitsel, pinya, pusa, puno. Basahin ninyo ang mga salita na makikita sa screen. Simulan ninyo mga bata. Kung ang salita ay binasa ninyo na payong, tama mga bata. Kung ang salita ay binasa ninyo na pako, magaling mga bata. Kung ang salita ay binasa ninyo na paru-paro, tama mga bata. Kung ang salita ay binasa ninyo na palaka, magaling mga bata. Kung ang salita ay binasa ninyo na pitsel, magaling mga bata. Kung ang salita ay binasa ninyo na pinya, tama mga bata. Kung ang salita ay binasa ninyo na pusa, tama mga bata. Kung ang salita ay binasa ninyo na puno, magaling mga bata. Ngayon mga bata, basahin naman natin ang mga parirala na may mga salitang nagsisimula sa titik P na may tunog na. Basahin natin ang mga parirala na inyong makikita sa screen. Halimbawa mga bata, ang payong. Simulan na ninyo mga bata. Basahin ang unang parirala. Kung ang parirala ay binasa ninyo na ang paru-paro, tama mga bata. Kung ang parirala ay binasa ninyo na ang pitsel? Magaling mga bata! Kung ang parirala ay binasa ninyo na ang pusa, tama mga bata! Kung ang parirala ay binasa ninyo na ang pako, magaling mga bata! Kung ang parirala ay binasa ninyo na ang palaka, tama mga bata! Kung ang parirala ay binasa ninyo na ang pinya, magaling mga bata! Kung ang parirala ay binasa ninyo na ang puno, magaling mga bata! Ngayon mga bata, ating basahin ang mga parirala na inyong makikita sa screen. Simulan nyo na mga bata! Ngayon, babasahin ko ulit isa-isa ang mga parirala at alamin ninyo kung tama ba ang inyong pagbasa sa mga parirala. Ang payong at ang pako. Ang paru-paro at ang palaka. Ang pitsel at ang pinya. Ang pusa at ang puno. Mga bata, basahin natin ang mga pangungusap na inyong makikita sa screen. Simulan nyo na mga bata! Kung ang pangungusap ay binasa ninyo na ang payong ay bago, tama! Kung ang pangungusap ay binasa ninyo na ang pako ay matulis, magaling! Kung ang pangungusap ay binasa ninyo na ang paru-paro ay dumapo sa palaka, tama! Kung ang pangungusap ay binasa ninyo na ang pinya ay nasa loob ng pitsel, Magaling! Kung ang pangungusap ay binasa ninyo na ang pusa ay nasa ilalim ng puno, tama! Ngayon mga bata, basahin natin ang isang tula na inyong makikita sa screen na pinamagatang payong. Simulan nyo na mga bata! Ngayon, babasahin ko ang tula at alamin ninyo kung tama ba ang inyong pagbasa sa tula. Payong. May payong akong bago. Galing sa Olongapo. Maganda at pula ang kulay nito. Dala-dala ko palagi ito. Kahit saan ako patungo. Para sa inyong unang gawain, mga bata, tingnan ang ibabang bahagi ng inyong tula na binasa at sagutin ang mga tanong na inyong makikita. At para naman sa inyong ikalawang gawain, mga bata, buksan muli ang ika-67 na pahina ng inyong Module P. At para naman sa inyong takdang aralin, mga bata, gayahin at isulat ang titik P sa kursibong pagsulat nito. Hanggang sa muli mga bata! Sana'y may natutunan kayo sa araw na ito. Enjoy!
atong klase sa kindergarten. Diri gihapon kita magklase sa tulungaan sa telebisyon o sa radyo. Andam na ba kamo nga magkat-on karong adlaw? Ali na! Magkat-on na ta! Kagahapon, atong nakat-unan ang bahin sa color nga puti o white. Atong nahibaluan nga ang bond paper, gapas, kutsara o tinidor, tasa o samin, mga butang nga adunay color puti o white. Karong adlaw, ato na usab nakat-unan ang bahin sa color nga brown. Mga bata, na ako'y ipakita ninyo. Mao kini ang saya. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon mga bata. Mao kini ang saya. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon mga bata. Mao kini ang saya. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Mao kini ang saya. Ang iyang color brown. Aduna na usab ko'y lain ipakita mga bata. Mao kini ang jacket. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon mga bata. Mao kini ang jacket. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Mao kini ang jacket. Ang iyang color brown. Nauna usab ko'y lain ipakita mga bata. Mao kini ang panyo. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon mga bata. Mao kini ang panyo. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Mao kini ang panyo. Ang iyang color brown. Tan-awa mga bata. Mao kini ang karsunis. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon mga bata. Mao kini ang karsunis. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Mao kini ang karsunis. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Mao kini ang karsunis. Ang iyang color brown. Anian na usab ko'y lain ipakita mga bata. Mao kini ang tuwalya. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon mga bata. Mao kini ang tuwalya. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Mao kini ang tuwalya. Ang iyang color brown. Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Mao kini ang tuwalya. Ang iyang color brown. Mga bata, inyo nakita ang mga butang nga color brown. Sama sa saya, jacket, karsunis, panyo, o tuwalya. Karon mga bata, ato nang nailhan ang color nga brown. Timanin na ninyo mga bata. Karon mga bata, naanapod ko ipakita nga video. Video kini sa mga bata nga nagdula kauban si teacher. Ato kining tan-awon o paminawon. Okay mga bata, magtula ta. Naay mga nagkalain-laing mga butang sa tunga. Ang inyong buhaton, kuhaa ang mga butang na akong isulti. Nasabtan mga bata?
Yes, teacher!
Okay, kung kinsa to'y makakuha sa butang nga akong isulti, na ay reward si teacher nga star. Okay, ready na? Ready na?
Aha, aha.
Kinsa to makakuha og daghang star, maoy makadaog sa dula. Gab, naminaw ka Gab? Okay. Maoy makadaog sa dula ang makakuha og daghang star. Ready na? Ready na?
Aha, aha.
Okay, ready? Kuha ang brown nga pulseras. Okay, alit Gab.
Ang akong nakuha, pulseras. Ang iyang color, brown.
Okay, very good. Nana po'y rewards Gab. Ay, pakpakan na to si Gab mga bata. Yay! Okay. Sunod. Kuha ang tasa nga brown. Okay, very good Gab. Si Jay.
Ang ako nakuha kay tasa. Ang iyang color, brown.
Very good! Sige, punta ka sa basket. Okay, hanap ko kay star. Saan ni CJ?
Star.
Very good! Pakpakan na to si CJ mga bata! Sige na, pakpak! Dili na magbanha-banha. Okay.
Yay!
Ready? Jana, Gab, na ay problema?
Ma.
Okay, dili magbanha ha. Maminaw ni teacher. Okay, ready? Pataas ang kamot. Jana, pataas ang kamot. Paubos. Okay. Kuha ang brown na face mask. Okay, Aidan.
Ang akong nakuha kay face mask. Ang iyang color, brown.
Very good. Sige, naana po'y reward si Aidan. Unsa ni Aidan?
Star.
Star. Okay, atong bakbakan si Aidan mga bata. Ipakpak. Very good. Sunod. Ang inyong kuhaon, brown nga bakos. Okay, ang dyan na. Ali, dyan na.
Ang akong nakuha kay bakos. Ang iyang color, brown.
Very good. Okay. Naay reward si Jana. Unsa na Jana?
Star.
Star, pakpakan na to si Jana mga bata. Very good. Dari Jana. Okay, sunod. Ang inyong kuhaon, CJ. Brown nga bag. Okay.
Ang akong nakuha bag. Ang iyang color, brown.
Very good, Ruth. Sige. Yan na po'y award si Ruth. Ipakpakan na to si Ruth. Pakpakan na to si Ruth mga bata. Jana, Gab. Okay, pataas ang kamot. Pataas ang kamot. Paubos. Sunod. CJ. Kuha ang brown nga pitaka. Okay, very good. Ali, Gab.
Ang akong nakuha, pitaka. Ang iyang color, brown.
Very good. Si Gab. Nana po'y reward si Gab. Masa ni Gab?
Star.
Star. Pagpakan na to si Gab mga bata. Yay! Karon, kinsa may nakadaog
Siga.
sa atong dula.
Siga.
Okay, si Gab. Nakakuha si Gab og duha ka star. Kumuha man ng star na isa good, Jana. Okay, karon. Ang atong ikuha ng mga butang, ang color brown. video nga atong nakita mga bata. Nagdula ang mga bata kauban si teacher. Makalingaw kaayo. Mga bata, nailhan na gyud nato kung unsa ang color nga brown. Sige, pagtan-aw mo mga butang nga color brown nga makita sa sulod sa inyong balay. Hikapa o kuhaa o ipakita kini sa inyong mama o papa. Nakakita na ba kamo og mga butang nga color brown mga bata? Maayo! Inyo na ba kining gipakita sa inyong mama o papa? Very good! Karon, pangita na pud mo og laing mga butang nga color brown ug ipakita kini sa inyong ate o kuya. Nakakita na ba kamo og mga butang nga color brown mga bata? Maayo mga bata! Ipakita na ba ninyo kini sa inyong ate o kuya? Kung inyo nang ipakita, very good! Alang sa dugang pagkaton, kuhaa ang inyong activity sheets para karong adlaw. Para sa unang buluhaton, ilha ang mga hulagway. Asa ni ana ang brown o color? O kolore kini? Akong usbon mga bata. Ilha ang mga hulagway. Asa ni ana ang brown o color? O kolore kini? Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Ilha ang mga hulagway. Asa ni ana ang brown o color? O kolore kini? Alang sa dugang buluhaton, kolore o brown ang mga musunod nga hulagway. Akong usbon mga bata. Kolore o brown ang mga musunod nga hulagway. Akong usbon sa makausa mga bata. Kolore o brown ang mga musunod nga hulagway. Ug dinhi natapos ang atong leksyon karong adlaw. Hangtod sa sunod higayon, daghang salamat mga bata. Bye-bye.
Teacher Charlene, welcome na usab sa Matipayong Pagkaton! So kahapon, inyong nakatunan ang color orange. So karong adlaw, atong ibalik lang taw. Ug atong pagatunan pagbalik ang color orange. Sige! Magsugod na kita! Aduna ako'y ipakita sa inyo ha. Kabalo ba mo unsa kini? Kini ang gamito nato sa pag-inom og tubig. Pwede usab kung mag-inom kita og gatas. Unsa man kini? Sakto, tasa. Unsa may color sa tasa? Kabalo ba ka mo unsay color ani nga tasa? Ang color ani orange. So karong adlaw atong makatunan ang color orange. Sige, unsay color ani nga tasa? Very good. Orange. Ikaw dabi? Orange. Kana, kas-ana lang. Orange. Sakto. Kini. Kabalo ba mo unsa kini? O, daghan kaayo ni siya sulat. Unsa man kini? Sakto. Cards. Unsay color sa cards? Unsay color? Correct! Orange. Orange nga mga cards. Wow! Kini. Aduna ako gidala nga letter. Kani nga letra, unsa man nga letra? Y. Unsay color sa letter Y? Unsay color niya? Sakto. Orange. Orange nga letter Y. Very good. Kini. Gamito nato ni ko mukaon kita. Unsa may color ani? Sakto. Orange. Orange nga. Unsa man kini? Plato. Orange nga. Plato. Very good. So mao kini ang mga butang nga color orange. Aduna ako'y giandam nga mga lain-lain pang mga butang nga color orange. Mga bata, atong ila-ilahon pag-ayo ang ubang butang nga color orange. Maglingkod kita og tarong ug maminaw ni teacher. Mao kini ang mga butang nga color orange. Ikaw daw bi? Orange. Very good. Unsa man kini? Nakakaon ka na ba og ingon ani? Dami kaayo ni. Unsa man ka na? Sakto, carrot. Unsay color sa carrot? Very good. Orange. So, orange nga carrot. Ikaw daw bi? Orange nga carrot. Maayo. Kini, nakainom ka na ba og ingon ani? Unsa man ang sulod sa baso? Unsa man na? Sakto, juice. Unsay color sa juice? Very good. Orange. So, orange nga juice. Unsa ka na? Orange nga juice. Very good. Kana. Unsa man ang gatuyok-tuyok?
Nakadula ka na ba og ingon, ana? Sakto, bola. Unsay color sa bula? Correct! Orange. So kana, orange nga bola. Ikaw daw, B? Orange nga bola. Very good! Kana. Saman kana. Kanito na to na kung aduna tay kuluran. Unsa na? Very good. Crayola. Unsay color sa Crayola? Orange. Unsa gani na? Orange nga Crayola. Ikaw daw, B? Orange nga Crayola. Very good! Kana, unsa man na? Kagwapa sa isda. Sakto. Unsay color sa isda? Orange. So, unsa na? Orange nga isda. Ikaw daw, B? Orange nga isda.
Mga bata, andama ang inyong lapis o orange nga Crayola. Isumpay ang mga tuldok-tuldok nga mga linya aron maporma ang hulagway sa usa ka carrot. Kuluran kini og orange nga Crayola. Kana ha, isumpay-sumpay ang mga tuldok aron mahimo siyang carrots. Nakuha mga bata? Karon, isumpay ang mga putol-putol nga linya ug kuluran kini gamit ang Crayola nga orange sama sa hulagway nga makita sa ubos. Kanang hulagway nga orange siya nga wala nagkasumpay, isumpay ka na. Pagkahuman og sumpay, kuluran kini og Crayola nga orange. Very good mga bata.
Wow! So mga bata, maugkat to ang color orange. Maayo na kayo mo-identify o color orange. Karon mga bata, pangitaan ninyo ang mga buta nga color orange sa inyong balay. So karong adlaw, inyong nakatunan pag-usab ang color orange. Daghang salamat mga bata. Ug magkita-kita na usab kita sa sunod sa Malipayong Pagkaton. Bye-bye! Bye-bye! Goodbye! Bye-bye-bye-bye! Goodbye! Goodbye!
May assignment po kasi ako, ate. Turuan mo naman ako. Ay, naku, bata ka. Wrong timing ka talaga. May ginagawa pa ako. Pero, luto na, oh. Buti ba tikman mo? Maupo ka dyan.
Ate
Tikman
naman.
mo ito at baka makasagot ka dyan sa assignment mo. Sige. to, ate? Ang tawag dito, Jel, ubi loaf. Masarap to, ha? May assignment pa sana kasi ako. Sarap na, ate. Diba? Ang sarap. Sabi ko sa'yo eh. Ate, ang sarap nito, ha? Ate, ang sarap.
Ate, bakit mo binubusan ng mga mainit na tubig ang mga yan?
Ito ba? Alam mo kasi, Jel, sinisigurado ko na malinis ang mga ito. Tulad itong baking pan at saka itong mixer para malinis siya bago at pagkatapos gamitin.
Sinisigurado pala na malinis yan. Sige ate, mamaya na lang ako magpapatulong.
Mabuti tapos ka nang kumain. Tulungan mo na lang kaya ako maghanda ng babaunin ng kuya mo.
Okay ate.
Sige, sumunod ka sa akin, ha?
Sige po ate. Kuya, baon mo raw, sabi ni ate. May training po ba?
Uy, salamat naman. Nagkayayaan lang, Jelly. Palaging busy sa work. Kailangan ding mag-exercise paminsan-minsan. Alam mo naman that I really love sports, kaya di na ako nakatanggi.
Ate told me, kuya, that you really love sports since then.
Gusto mo bang sumama?
Gusto ko sana. Kaso, may documentary film pa kasi akong tatapusin. Malapit na kasi ang deadline, kuya.
Ganun ba? Nakausap ko ang ate kanina at tutulungan ka raw niya.
Talaga, kuya? Ay, si ate talaga. Magtatampo na sana ako. Akala ko di niya ako tutulungan.
Yun nga, she said that you are making a documentary film. Siguro para magsipag ka palalo. Diba?
Mga kuya.
Oh, sige, aalis na ako at maaraw na.
Okay, kuya. Mag-ingat ka, ha?
Oh, tol. Ang galing mo pa rin sa takbuhan. Grabe, walang kupas. Ang tindi mo pa rin.
Sinabi mo pa, tol.
Hindi naman mga tol. Iba na talaga ang running skills ko, di gaya ng dati.
Di nga, tol. Nangibabaw pa rin yung strength, power at speed mo, tol. Teka lang, ano-ano nga ba yung mga running events na napanalunan mo noon?
Actually, medyo pinalad ako sa middle distance, sprints, long distance, hurdle, at relay.
Wow, ang galing mo pa rin, tol, ah. Pero ako, tol, sa tingin ko, magpo-focus na lang siguro ako sa throwing. Sa events ko sa throwing. Sa laki ba naman ng braso ko, oh.
Hay naku, Yenso. Mahihiya naman si Iron Man sa napakatigas mong braso.
Nagsalita naman yung hindi magawa yung best jumping technique niya dahil sa katabaan.
Oo, baka magkapikunan pa kayo. Tara na, magpahinga muna tayo.
Tara, tara.
Ay, Sol, tingnan mo ang mga boys, oh. Mukhang nag-i-enjoy. Pahingi naman ng kalamansi juice mo.
Sure, Maya.
Ang tabang naman ito. Nag-mix ka ba ng sugar?
Oo naman, Maya. Naluan ko kaya yan ng 3-4 tablespoon na asukal. I-shake mo kasi, baka hindi masyadong na-dissolve.
Ay, oo nga. Mukhang may natira pang hindi na-dissolve. Ang sarap na!
Sabi ko naman sa'yo eh, matamis yan. Mas matamis pa yan sa inyong pagmamahalan. Charot.
Oh, nandito na pala sila. Oh, ano? Kaya niyo pa ba?
Nakakapagod, Maya. Iba na talaga pag walang practice. O siya nga pala. May dala akong ubi loaf dito.
Wow.
Nagawa natin jam. O, tikman nyo.
Oh, sarap naman yan. Tama.
Ang harap nga.
Ito ang madaling gawin, ang kumain.
Oh, Jel! Patingin nga yung ginagawa mo.
Ito ate oh, tama kaya yan?
Matingnan ko. Tama ito, Jel. Ibinahagi ninyo ng mga kagrupo mo ang uri ng pamumuhay nating mga Asyano noon. Tulad na lamang nitong napili ninyong topiko tungkol sa one-child policy ng bansang China na naglalayong mapigilan ang mabilis na paglago ng kanilang populasyon. Alam mo, Jel, ito ay may malaking kaugnayan sa pag-unlad ng kasalukuyang panahon.
Yay! Maswerte talaga ako at naging teacher ka, ate. Tungkol dito, te, naisip ko kasi kung paano kaya ang lipunan at kabuhayan natin sa kasalukuyan kung hindi natin papalagahan ang nakaraan.
Tama ka dyan, Jelly. Magaling ang napili niyong konsepto. Basta siguraduhin nyo lang na sinuri nyo mabuti yung mga tauhan at tagpuan para mas maging makatotohanan ang docu-film na yan. Kaya mo naman pala eh.
Thank you talaga, ate ha, for being so supportive.
Hello! Welcome back mga grade 7 Mathematics. Today is another brand new day to learn another lesson in mathematics. Dito sa nag-isang programa nyo, ang TANGKUB. We learn all things, ang saya. Ready na ba kayo? Hooray! Now, let us begin. Let's play back the scene where Sol shared her calamansi juice to Maya.
Ay, Sol, tingnan mo ang mga boys, oh. Mukhang nag-i-enjoy. Pahingi naman ng kalamansi juice mo.
Sure, Maya.
Ang tabang naman ito. Nag-mix ka ba ng sugar?
Oo naman, Maya. Naluan ko kaya yan ng 3-4 tablespoon na asukal. I-shake mo kasi, baka hindi masyadong na-dissolve.
Ay, oo nga. Mukhang may natira pang hindi na-dissolve. Ang sarap na!
Sabi ko naman sa'yo eh, matamis yan. Mas matamis pa yan sa inyong pagmamahalan. Charot.
On the scene, Sol stated that she mixed 3/4 tablespoon of sugar to her calamansi juice. 3/4 is in fraction form. 3 is the numerator and 4 is the denominator. Do you know the equivalent decimal form of the fraction 3/4? How to convert this into decimal form? Well, to know more, stay tuned since we will tackle our new lesson for today, which is all about expressing rational numbers from fraction form to decimal form and vice versa. But first, what do we mean by rational numbers?
The term rational is derived from the word ratio, which means quotient. Rational number is any number that can be written in the form a over b, where a and b are integers, and b is not equal to 0.
Examples: 3/2, It is a rational number because it is a quotient of two integers, 3 and 2. And the denominator is not 0. What would happen if the denominator is 0? Yes, the value of the fraction would be undefined. How about 20? Yes, it is a rational number since it can be written in fraction form as 20 over 1, 40 over 2, 80 over 4, and etc. How about 0.25? Yes, it is a rational number since it can be written as 25 over 100 or 1/4. How about the value of pi? Yes, it is not a rational number. Thus, it is called irrational number because it cannot be written in fraction form a over b.
Note that any number that can be written in fraction form is a rational number. This includes integers, terminating decimals, and non-terminating repeating decimals, as well as fractions. An integer can be written as a fraction simply by giving it a denominator of 1. So any integer is a rational number. Example 6. 6 can be written as 6 over 1. 4 is equal to 4 over 1. And 0 can also be written as 0 over 1. Terminating decimal is a decimal with finite number of digits. Examples 0.75, 2.5, and many more. It can be written as fraction. So any terminating decimal is a rational number. Non-terminating repeating decimal is a decimal number that continues infinitely with repeated pattern. Example, the 3 dots there is called ellipsis. It means infinity. It can also be denoted using a vinculum that is placed over a repeatant. For example, repeatant is the digit that repeats itself. On the example, 3 there repeats itself. A bar or a vinculum is placed over a repeatant. Non-terminating repeating decimal can be written as a fraction using algebraic methods. So any repeating decimal is a rational number.
Note that any rational number can be expressed from fraction form to decimal form and vice versa. Now learners, let's start with converting fractions to decimals with terminating decimals. Let's convert first the fraction we had a while ago. What is the decimal form of 3/4? Remember, we can convert fraction to decimal by simply dividing the numerator by its denominator. Look at this solution. We now have 3 divided by 4. We will use long division to divide 3/4. 3 divided by 4 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. Now bring down 0. We now have 30. 30 divided by 4 is 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 30 minus 28 is 2. Bring down 0. We now have 20. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And 5 times 4 is 20. We now have 20 minus 20, which is 0 as our remainder. Therefore, the decimal form of the fraction 3/4 is equal to 0.75, a terminating decimal. What about this next example? Convert 1/4 to decimal form. 1/4 is equal to 1 divided by 4. Applying long division method, we have 1 divided by 4 is equal to 0. 0 times 4 is equal to 0. 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. Bring down 0, we have 10. 10 divided by 4 is equal to 2. 2 times 4 is equal to 8. 10 minus 8 is equal to 2. Bring down another 0, we have 20. 20 divided by 4 is equal to 5. 5 times 4 is equal to 20. 20 minus 20 is equal to 0. Therefore, 1/4 is equal to 0.25 in decimals, a terminating decimal. Easy, right? Now learners, try this. What is the decimal form of 5/2? Does this produce a terminating decimal? Correct! It is 2.5. And 2.5 is a terminating decimal. To convert 5/2 to 2.5, look at this solution. Applying the long division, we now have 5 divided by 2. 5 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Bring down 0, we now have 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. We now have 10 minus 10, which is 0. Therefore, the decimal form of the fraction 5/2 or 5/2 is equal to 2.5. Now learners, kindly familiarize these common fractions with their equivalent decimal form. 1/8 is equal to 0.125. 1/4 is equal to 0.25. 1/2 is equal to 0.5. 3/4 is equal to 0.75. Now, let us proceed to converting fractions into decimals. This time, non-terminating, repeating decimals. Change 1/3 to decimal form. Applying the long division, we have 1/3 is equal to 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 3 is equal to 0. 0 times 3 is 0. 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. Bring down 0. We now have 10. 10 divided by 3 is equal to 3. 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 10 minus 9 is equal to 1. Bring down another 0, we have 10. 10 divided by 3 is equal to 3. And 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 10 minus 9 is equal to 1. You have noticed that even if we add more zeros, the solution has always a remainder 1. This means that 3 there repeats itself. Therefore, 1/3 is equal to 0.3 repeating. Non-terminating, repeating decimal. Do you get it? Now learners, try this. What is the equivalent decimal form of the fraction 11/9? Does this produce a non-terminating repeating decimal? Correct! The equivalent decimal form of the fraction 11 over 9 is 1.2 repeating, which is a non-terminating repeating decimal. How do we get the answer? Look at this solution. Applying the long division, we now have 11 divided by 9. 11 divided by 9 is 1. 1 times 9 is 9. 11 minus 9 is 2. Bring down 0, we now have 20. 20 divided by 9 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. Bring down 0 again, we now have 20. 20 divided by 9 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. This means that even if we add more zeros, the solution has always a remainder 2. This means 2 repeats itself. Therefore, the fraction 11 over 9 is equal to 1.2 repeating in decimal form.
Easy, right? Now learners, how about converting decimal to fraction? Now let us start converting terminating decimals to fraction. To convert a terminating decimal to a fraction, follow these steps. Step 1. Write down the decimal divided by 1, like this. Step 2. Multiply both the numerator and denominator by 10 to the power of n, where n is equal to the number of digits after the decimal point. For example, if there is one digit after the decimal point, then multiply both numerator and denominator by 10. It is the result of 10 to the power of 1. If there are two digits, then multiply it by 10 to the power of 2, or 100. If there are 3, then multiply by 10 to the power of 3, which is 1000, and so on. Step 3. Simplify or reduce the fraction.
Example, convert 0.3 to fraction. First, write down the decimal divided by 1. We now have 0.3 divided by 1. Next, multiply both top and bottom by 10 to the power of 1, or 10, because there is only one digit after the decimal point. We now have 0.3 times 10 in the numerator over 1 times 10. Simplify. 0.3 times 10 in the numerator is equal to 3. 1 times 10 in the denominator is equal to 10. We now have 3 over 10. Notice that 3 and 10 have no common factor. Therefore, this is the final answer. So, the decimal 0.3 is equal to 3 over 10 in fraction form.
Another example. Convert 0.75 to fraction. Let us take a look at the solution. Applying step 1, 0.75 is equal to 0.75 over 1. Step 2, we are going to multiply both top and bottom by 10 to the power of n. Since we have two digits after the decimal point, therefore, we will multiply 10 to the power of 2, or 100. So we have 0.75 times 100 over 1 times 100. Simplifying, we now have 0.75 times 100 is equal to 75. 1 times 100 is equal to 100. We now have 75 over 100. 75 over 100 have common factor, which is 25. Now we have 75 divided by 25 is equal to 3. 100 divided by 25 is equal to 4. Therefore, 0.75 in fraction form is equal to 3/4.
Complicated? No. Now, learners, try this. What is the fraction form of the decimal 3.4? Correct! The answer is 17 over 5. How do we get the answer? Well, look at this solution. Easy, right? Always remember that any terminating decimal can be converted into fraction. Now, how about converting non-terminating repeating decimal into fraction? What are the steps? To convert non-terminating decimal into fraction form, we follow these steps. Step 1. Let n be your given decimal number. Step 2. Multiply the equation by a power of 10 depending on the place value of the given decimal. Step 3. Subtract the first equation to the new equation to obtain a whole number as difference. Step 4. Find the value of n by applying the multiplication property of equality, or MPE. And step 5, finalize your answer. Let us have example. Change 0.3 repeating to fraction form. Applying step 1, we let n be equal to 0.3 repeating. Step 2, we multiply n by 10. We now have 10 times the whole equation n is equal to 0.3 repeating. 10 times n is equal to 10n. 10 times 0.3 repeating is equal to 3.3 repeating. We now have 10n is equal to 3.3 repeating. Step 3. Subtract the first equation to the new equation. We have 10n is equal to 3.3 repeating minus the previous equation, n is equal to 0.3 repeating. Getting their difference, we now have 9n is equal to 3. Step 4. Finding the value of n, we apply the multiplication property of equality. So, we multiply both sides of the equation by 1 over 9. 1 over 9 times 9n is equal to n. 3 times 1 over 9 is equal to 3 over 9. So we now have n is equal to 3 over 9. 3 over 9 can be simplified into
1 over 3. Therefore, 0.3 repeating is equal to 3 over 9 or 1/3. Next example. Change 1.6 repeating to fraction form. Step 1. Let n equals 1.6 repeating. This is our first equation. Step 2. Multiply the equation by a power of 10 depending on the place value of the given decimal. We now have 10 times the first equation, n equals 1.6 repeating. Simplify. 10 times n is 10n. 10 times 1.6 repeating is 16.6 repeating. We now have 10n equals 16.6 repeating. Step 3. Subtract the first equation to the new equation to obtain a whole number as difference. We now have 10n equals 16.6 repeating minus the first equation, n equals 1.6 repeating. 10n minus n is 9n. 16.6 repeating minus 1.6 repeating is 15. Step 4. Find the value of n by applying the multiplication property of equality. Multiply both sides of the equation by 1 over 9. We now have 1 over 9 times 9n equals 15 times 1 over 9. Then simplify. 1 over 9 times 9n is equal to n. 15 times 1 over 9 is equal to 15 over 9. Since 15 and 9 have common factor which is 3, we now have n equals 5 over 3. Step 5, let's finalize our answer. Therefore, 1.6 repeating is equivalent to 5/3 or 5 over 3 in fraction form. Easy, right? Now learners, it's your turn to try. What is the fraction form of 0.7 repeating? Correct! The answer is 7 over 9. Look at this solution. Complicated? No. Note that there are also decimals that cannot be converted into fractions. These decimals are called irrational numbers. These are the non-terminating, non-repeating decimals. Pi is one of the examples of non-terminating, non-repeating decimals. Always remember that any number that can be written in fraction form is a rational number. Now, since you have already learned to convert fraction to decimal and vice versa, it's time, learners, to get your activity sheets and answer the following activities. Let us read the direction. Activity A. Identify and write only the rational numbers from the box below. Activity B. Convert the following rational numbers in fraction form to decimal form. Show your solution. Activity C. Convert the following rational numbers in decimal form to fraction form. Show your solutions. Take your time in answering your activities. Always remember that life is a precious gift.
Never ever waste any fraction of it by being negative or unhappy.
Try to make the best of whatever you have been blessed with. Now, grade 8 learners, stay tuned and get ready for Math 8 is coming next. Good luck and God bless everyone!
Sakto lang, Susi. Bakit kasi sa dalan ka pa dumaan? Pwede naman dun sa ramp. Hey, dito kasi dumaan si Crush eh.
Good morning, class. Since we're done with the different steps in research, it is time for you to apply what you have learned. My requirement for you is to be able to conduct and write an experimental research since this class belongs to the science curriculum. Don't forget to write the references following the APA format. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am!
Okay, so there must be 3 members per group, and to make it more unpredictable, you are going to pick the number for your group. Okay, let's start. Okay, so let us see. Group 1, kindly stand. Okay, how about group 2? Okay, thank you. How about group 3? Okay. I'll give you time to go to the library and do the first step, which is look for the possible topics for your research. Okay, you can go now.
Mabuti na lang at naging kagrupo ka namin, Tulits.
Oo nga, Kili. I'm so happy to be part of this group.
Yeah.
Kelly! Tignan mo! Nag-add si crush sa
Susie, hindi naman sa bitter ako, no? Pero, ito kasi tayo sa library. Dapat, maging responsable tayo sa mga task na ibinigay sa atin ni teacher.
Oo nga, Susie. Mas mabuti pang maghanap ka na lang ng mga related literatures na maaaring topic natin sa ating research. Huwag mong kalimutan, ilagay mo ang reference kung saan mo nakita ang isang impormasyon.
So let's look. May interesting topic ako nakita dito. Ito ay tungkol sa speed of sound.
Magandang topic nga yan, Kili. May nabasa rin ako tungkol dyan. We will investigate how the temperature affects the speed of sound.
Oh!
Hi, Ma'am!
May nakita na ba kayong potential topic for research?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, may topic na po kami. And it's all about the effect of temperature to the speed of sound.
Very good! Gumawa na kayo ng balangkas kung papaano ninyo gagawin ang inyong research.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ganito, dahil weekend bukas, we will make use of our time sa Saturday. Let's meet sa house ko dahil may internet connection naman kami. Okay ba yun?
Okay, Tulits. Ako na magsabi sa isa dito. Tulog pa kasi.
Tao po!
Uy, Susie, Kili, ang aga nyo naman. By the way, Susie, I like the pattern of your dress. It's so Indonesian inspired.
Thanks, Tulits!
Pasok kayo.
You know what, Tulits? Gusto ko itong design ng sofa niyo. Pang Southeast Asia ang dating.
Hay nako, si Nanay Carda lang talagang pumili niyan.
O mga anak, magmerienda muna kayo.
Wow!
Ano po, tita?
Hi po, tita!
Hello.
Salamat po, tita Carda! The best ka talaga! By the way, tita, ano po bang formula ng juice na ito? Sobrang sarap!
Nilagyan ko lang yan ng juice powder, yung good for 1L.
1L!
Ay, sorry anak. Yung L kasi, yan yung abbreviation ng liter. So, it means 1 liter ng juice. Tsaka alam nyo, ang saya kong makita nag-aaral kayo ng mabuti. Kasi, palagi kong pinaalahanan nito si Tolits ang kalagahan ng edukasyon. At higit sa lahat, ang pagdadasal. Kasi, prayer plus study is equal to success.
Thanks, tita! Mas lalo kami naging porsigido na tapusin ang aming research.
That's good. O siya, maiwan ko muna kayo ha. At na may pagpatuloy nyo ang ginagawa nyo.
Sige po, tita! This graph presents the result of our experiment. The x-axis is the temperature and the y-axis is the speed of sound.
It can be summarized through this equation, y equals x plus 1.
This graph means that as the temperature increases, the speed of sound also increases.
The unit of temperature is degrees Celsius, and the unit for the speed of sound is meter per second. The unit degree Celsius is very popular binibining market, especially when you are going to set a specific temperature for baking cakes and pastries.
Labis akong natutuwa sa pagpursige ninyong tapusin ang inyong pananaliksik. Bibigyan ko ng cuneiform plaque ang grupong nagbigay ng extraordinaryong output. Ang cuneiform, ang kauna-unahang sistema ng pagsusulat na nadiskubre sa kabihas ng Sumer. At dahil dito, umusbong ang maraming pamamaraan ng pagsusulat. At sa kasalukuyan, nakatulong ito sa pamamaraan ng pananaliksik. Ibibigay ko ito sa grupong Sutikil! Susi, Tulits, at Kili! O, sige, mag-picture muna tayo.
Susi! Susi, gising na. Anong oras na ba?
Oras na para bumalik tayo sa classroom. Huwag mong kalimutan ha, may group study tayo bukas.
Panaginip lang pala yun?
Welcome back mga grade 8 Mathematics. Today is another brand new day to learn another lesson in mathematics. Dito sa nag-isang programa nyo, ang TANGKUB. We learn all things ang saya. Ready na ba kayo? Hooray! Now, let us begin. Now, let's play back the scene where the group of Susie defended their research with binibining market.
This graph presents the result of our experiment. The x-axis is the temperature and the y-axis is the speed of sound.
It can be summarized through this equation, y equals x plus 1.
This graph means that as the temperature increases, the speed of sound also increases.
The unit of temperature is degrees Celsius and the unit for the speed of sound is meter per second. The unit degree Celsius is very popular binibining market, especially when you are going to set a specific temperature for baking cakes and pastries.
The Sutikil group presented their research. You have noticed that their graph summarized into an equation. The equation was presented as y equals x plus 1. This shows that as the temperature increases, the speed of sound also increases. Thus, the situation shows a linear equation in two variables.
So now learners, clear your thoughts as we will tackle today another lesson, and that is linear equation in two variables, together with slope of a line, given 2 points, equation, and graph.
Let's start first defining linear equations in two variables. Linear equation in two variables is an equation that can be written in standard form ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are real numbers, but a and b cannot both be zero. These are some of the examples of linear equation in two variables. 3x plus y equals 5. 4x equals 9y. 2x minus y minus 8 equals 0. 8x plus 4y equals 3x minus 6.
Another example is on the situation. The equation y is equal to x plus 1. Yes, it is not written in standard form, but it can be expressed into standard form. Ax plus by equals c. Rewriting the given equation into its standard form, we now have x minus y is equal to negative 1. How did we transform it? Let's take a look. Transforming the equation y is equal to x plus 1, first, we have to use the addition property of equality. We now add both sides of the equation by negative x. We have y minus x is equal to x minus x plus 1. Combining like terms, x minus x is equal to 0. We now have y minus x is equal to 1. Y minus x can also be written into negative x plus y. Since in standard form, the numerical coefficient of a must be positive, therefore, we need to multiply both sides of the equation by negative 1 to make the numerical coefficient a positive. So we have negative 1 times the quantity of negative x plus y is equal to 1 times negative 1. Simplifying, we now have negative 1 times negative x is positive x. Negative 1 times positive y is negative y. 1 times negative 1 is equal to negative 1. Therefore,
The standard form of the equation y is equal to x plus 1 is equal to x minus y equals negative 1, where a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 1, and c is equal to negative 1. Likewise, the exponent of the variable x and y are both equal to 1, which define a linear equation in two variables.
Now, let us have more examples. Determine whether or not each equation illustrates a linear equation in two variables. If so, identify the values of A, B, and C. First equation, 5x equals 10 plus 3y. This equation is an example of linear equation in two variables, but it is not written in standard form. To write this in standard form, ax plus by equals c, apply addition property of equality. That is, add both sides of the equation by negative 3y. We now have 5x minus 3y equals 10 plus 3y minus 3y. Simplify. 5x minus 3y is still 5x minus 3y. 10 plus 3y minus 3y is 10. We now have 5x minus 3y equals 10. And this is now written in standard form, ax plus by equals c. Since the given equation 5x equals 10 plus 3y can be expressed into the form ax plus by equals c as 5x minus 3y equals 10, therefore, it is a linear equation in two variables, where a equals 5, b equals negative 3, and c equals 10.
Another example, y is equal to 4x plus 9. Is this a linear equation in two variables? Let's check. From the equation y is equal to 4x plus 9, we will apply the addition property of equality. Therefore, we now have y minus 4x is equal to 4x plus 9 minus 4x. Combining like terms, 4x minus 4x is equal to 0. So we now have negative 4x plus y is equal to 9. Since the first term of the standard form ax plus by is equal to c must be positive, then we are going to multiply both sides of the equation by negative 1. So we have negative 1 times the quantity negative 4x plus y equals 9 times negative 1. Simplifying, we now have negative 1 times negative 4x is positive 4x, negative 1 times y is negative y, 9 times negative 1 is equal to 9. Therefore, the equation y is equal to 4x plus 9 can be expressed into standard form ax plus by equals c as 4x minus y equals negative 9, then it is a linear equation in two variables, where a is equal to 4, b is equal to negative 1, and c is equal to negative 9.
How about this equation? 3x squared minus y equals 9. Is this a linear equation in two variables? Yes, this is not a linear equation in two variables because the exponent of x is 2. Next equation, 3 over x plus y equals 20. Is this a linear equation in two variables? Correct! This is not a linear equation into variables because a variable appears in the denominator of a fraction. How about this equation? xy equals 15. Is this a linear equation into variables? Correct. This is not a linear equation into variables because the two variables x and y are part of the same term.
Now learners, it's your time to try. The given equation x is equal to 4x minus y. Is this a linear equation in two variables? Very good. It is a linear equation in two variables. Now, what is its standard form? Let us see. The given is x is equal to 4x minus y. Applying the addition property of equality, we add both sides of the equation by negative 4x. We now have x minus 4x is equal to 4x minus y minus 4x. Combining like terms, we have x minus 4x is equal to negative 3x. 4x minus 4x is equal to 0. Therefore, we now have negative 3x is equal to negative y. Applying again the addition property of equality, we add both sides of the equation by positive y. We now have negative 3x plus y equals negative y plus y. Combining like terms, negative y plus y is equal to 0. So we now have negative 3x plus y equals 0. Since the first term of the equation is negative, therefore we multiply both sides of the equation by negative 1. We now have negative 1 times the quantity of negative 3x plus y equals 0 times negative 1. Simplifying, we now have negative 1 times negative 3x is positive 3x. Negative 1 times positive y is negative y. 0 times negative 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, the equation x is equal to 4x minus y is a linear equation in two variables. The standard form is 3x minus y equals 0. A is equal to 3, B is equal to negative 1, and C is equal to 0. Easy, right?
Now, let's take a look back on the graph of the Sutikil group. What have you observed? Right, the graph is a straight line. Note that the graph of every linear equation in two variables is always a straight line.
In mathematics, the gradient of a line is commonly known as slope. It is a number that describes both the direction and the steepness of a line. Let's play back another scene where we can find a real-life example of a slope.
Kiri! Late na ba tayo? Sakto lang, Susi. Bakit kasi sagdaran ka pa dumaan? Pwede naman dun sa ramp. Hey, dito kasi dumaan si Crush.
Right. Another example is the steepness of a ladder versus the steepness of the ramp. The steepness or the slope of a line is measured by the absolute value of the slope. A slope with a greater absolute value indicates a steeper line. The direction of a line is either increasing, decreasing, horizontal, or vertical. Slope is denoted by letter M. But there is no clear answer to the question why the letter M is used to represent slope. But its earliest use in English appears in O'Brien on 1844, who wrote the equation of a straight line as y is equal to mx plus b. Note that a basic property of a line other than vertical line is that its slope is constant. The slope of the horizontal line is 0, while that of the vertical line is undefined. A vertical line does not represent a linear function. The value of the slope m tells the trend of the graph. If m is positive, then the graph is increasing from left to right. If m is negative, then the graph is decreasing from left to right. If m is 0, then the graph is a horizontal line. And if m is undefined, then the graph is a vertical line. Slope is the ratio of the change in y, that is vertical rise, to the change in x, or the horizontal run. Thus, it can be computed by finding the quotient of the rise and the run. That is, m is equal to rise over run. This time, let us try to solve for the slope of a line given 2 points. The slope m of a line passing through 2 points, let us say point 1, that is x sub 1, y sub 1, and point 2, x sub 2, y sub 2. It is given by m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Or it could be m is equal to y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2, where x sub 1 should not be equal to x sub 2.
Example, find the slope of the line given the 2 points, -2 and 1, and 4 and 6. Solution. Let the first point, -2 and 1, be equal to x sub 1, y sub 1, and the second point, 4 and 6, be equal to x sub 2, y sub 2. Now, let us use the formula in finding the slope of the line passing through 2 points. We have m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Next, substitute the given to the formula. We now have m equals 6 minus 1 over 4 minus -2. Simplify. 6 minus 1 in the numerator is 5. 4 minus -2 in the denominator is equal to 6. We now have m is equal to 5 over 6. Therefore, the slope of a line with given points, -2 and 1, and 4 and 6 is equal to 5 over 6. This means that the line rises 5 units vertically and 6 units horizontally. Since the slope is positive, then this also means that the graph is increasing from left to right. As simple as that.
Now, learners, it's your turn to try. What is the slope given 2 points, -12, 1, and 4, 1? You are right. The slope is equal to 0. Let us check. First, we let negative 12, 1 be our first point. So this is equal to x sub 1, y sub 1. And 4, 1 be our second point. So this is equal to x sub 2, y sub 2. Using the formula in finding the slope, we have m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Substituting now the given values, we have m is equal to 1 minus 1 over 4 minus negative 12. Simplifying, 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. 4 minus negative 12 is equal to positive 16. So we now have m is equal to 0 over 16. 0 over 16 or 0 divided by 16 is equal to 0. Therefore, the slope of a line given 2 points negative 12, 1 and 4, 1 is equal to 0. Again, how are we going to describe a graph of a line if the slope is equal to 0? Correct. The graph is a horizontal line.
Now, what about if the given is equation? How are we going to determine the slope? There are two forms of linear equations in two variables. These are, first, we have the slope-intercept form, denoted by y equals mx plus b. Second is the standard form, denoted by ax plus by equals c. In finding the slope given an equation, the equation must be in the slope-intercept form, where m represents the slope and b equals the y-intercept.
Now let's go back to the situation we had earlier. Let us use the equation as our first example. What is the slope of the equation y is equal to x plus 1? Since the equation is already in the slope-intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b, it is easier to identify the slope. The slope then, which is represented by m, is 1, since it is the numerical coefficient of x. Since the slope is positive, then this also means that the graph of a line is increasing from left to right.
Next example. What is the slope of this equation? 5x plus 2y plus 10 equals 0. Solution. First, let us transform the equation into slope-intercept form y equals mx plus b. Applying the addition property of equality, add negative 5x and negative 10 to both sides of the equation. We now have 5x plus 2y plus 10 minus 5x minus 10 equals negative 5x minus 10. Simplify. 5x plus 2y plus 10 minus 5x minus 10 is equal to 2y. Negative 5x minus 10 is still negative 5x minus 10. We now have 2y equals negative 5x minus 10. Now, applying the MPE or multiplication property of equality, multiply both sides of the equation by 1/2. That is, 1/2 times 2y equals negative 5x minus 10 times 1/2. Simplify. We now have y equals negative 5 over 2x minus 5. Therefore, the slope of a line given the equation 5x plus 2y plus 10 equals 0 is equal to negative 5 over 2. Now, since the slope is negative, then this also means that the graph of a line is decreasing from left to right. Easy, right?
Now, learners, it's your turn to try. What is the slope of the equation 4x minus 3y equals 9? Very good! The slope is equal to 4 over 3. Let us check how we got 4 over 3. From the equation 4x minus 3y equals 9, we apply addition property of equality. So we add both sides of the equation by negative 4x. We now have 4x minus 3y minus 4x is equal to 9 minus 4x. Combining like terms, we have 4x minus 4x is equal to 0. So we now have negative 3y equals negative 4x plus 9. Applying the multiplication property of equality, we then multiply both sides of this equation by negative 1/3. So we have negative 1/3 times negative 3y equals negative 1/3 times negative 4x plus 9. Simplifying, we now have negative 1/3 times negative 3y is equal to y. Negative 1/3 times negative 4x is equal to positive 4 over 3x. And negative 1/3 times positive 9 is equal to negative 3. Therefore, the slope-intercept form of the equation 4x minus 3y equals 9 is equal to y equals 4 over 3x minus 3. This means that the slope of this equation is equal to positive 4 over 3.
Now, what about if the graph is given? How to determine its slope? Alright, here are the steps to follow. First, remember the slope formula, which is m equals rise over run. Second, identify or locate 2 points in the graph. Third, from point 1, count the number of rises, that is vertically, then run horizontally to point 2. Fourth, substitute the values obtained on the slope. Let us have an example. Find the slope of this graph. Solution. Remember the slope formula, which is m equals rise over run. Second, identify or locate 2 points in the graph. In the graph, it is labeled as 1 and 2. Third, from point 1, count the number it rises downward or vertically. It gives you negative 14. Now, for the run or horizontally, count from left to right going to point 2. It gives you 10. Fourth, substitute the values obtained on the slope. That is m equals rise over run. We now have negative 14 as the rise over 10 as the run. Simplify. Since negative 14 and 10 have common factor which is 2, we now have negative 14 divided by 2 is equal to negative 7 and 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. Therefore, the slope of the given graph or m is equal to negative 7 over 5. By just looking at the graph, we know already that its slope is negative, since the line is decreasing from left to right.
Now, it's your turn to try. Find the slope given the graph. Even without solving, we will know that the slope is positive, since the line is increasing from left to right. Now, what is the value of the slope? Correct. The slope is equal to 4. Applying the steps, first, we use m is equal to rise over run. Second, identify or locate the points in the graph. Let point 1 and point 2 respectively. From point 1 to point 2, we have negative 4 units rises or vertical. It is negative because it is downward. And negative 1 run or horizontal. It is also negative because the direction is to the left. Substituting the values obtained on the slope form, m is equal to rise over run. We now have equal to negative 4 over negative 1. Negative 4 over negative 1 or negative 4 divided by negative 1 is equal to positive 4. Therefore, the slope given this graph is equal to positive 4.
Easy, right? This time, learners, kindly open your activity sheets in this lesson. Now, let us read the directions. Activity A. Complete me. Illustrate that the following are linear equations into variables by filling up the table below, given number 1 as an example. Activity B. Find the slope given the following. To end, life is like a math equation. We must strike a balance between getting ahead and getting along.
You must balance fun with learning, play, and hard work. Now, grade 9 learners, stay tuned and get ready for Math 9 is coming next.
Good luck and God bless everyone!
Inihahandog ng Dibisyon ng TANGKUB City ang iba't ibang kwento, aral, at kaalaman habang kayo ay nasa inyong mga tahanan. TV-based instruction.
project naman sa Filipino.
Ano ba to? Matingnan nga?
Paki-check please kung tama ba yung pagkahabi ko sa kwento tsaka yung pagbuo ng palabas.
Teka, pasabta ko? Bakit ganito ang pamagat ng maikling kwento mo?
Kasi ate, basahin mo muna.
Okay.
Happy anniversary, love.
Thank you, love.
Alam na alam mo talaga gusto ko, love. 1 year na tayo. Baka pwede mo na akong ipakilala sa parents mo or sa family mo.
Kilala mo naman mga magulang ko. Alam mo naman na ako lang inaasahan ni tatay at makapagtapos ng pag-aaral. Maigpit na ipinagbabawal ni tatay na pumasok sa isang relasyon.
Saan akong buhaton, asang forever nga imong giingon. Naapa ba ko'y mapaabot o wala na ko'y labot sa tako.
Tingnan mo ate, oh.
Nasaan ang laman ito?
Pagising ko kanina, tiningnan ko ito agad. Kasi gusto ko talagang magkaroon ito. Pero, wala nang gumagalaw. Na-search ko sa YouTube ate, na ang ganitong klase ng isda ay hindi dapat pagsamasamahin sa iisang lalagyan. Lalo na sa maliit na aquarium. Sigurado ako ate na hindi yan nakadya sa bago nitong tirahan. O baka contaminated yung tubig na nilagay natin. Sayang talaga, ate.
Ganun ba, Cheska?
Bigay pa naman sana yan ni Kuya James, di ba, ate?
Oo nga.
Naparito ka, Presi. Anong atin? May problema ba? Di halos maipinta yung mukha mo ah.
Ay naku, Brad, may kunting problema. Narito ako upang maghanap ng kaparehong isda na iniregalo sa akin. Pwede bang matingnan mga alaga mo, Brad? Bibili ako.
Ay, sus, yun lang pala. Akala ko mayroong seryosong problema ka. Halika, mamili tayo. Koleksyon ko lahat ang mga ito. Pero dahil kaibigan kita, pagbibigyan kita. Alam mo, Brad, pumunta ko kahapon sa courtyard. Akalain mo namang yung 20 piso ng isda, ngayon, 70 piso na. Ang bilis talaga magmahal.
Ito talagang COVID virus, napakaraming nasagasaang negosyo. Pati ang ekonomiya ng ating bansa, lubhang naaapektuhan. Maraming nawala ng trabaho, at marami ring negosyo ang napagsarhan, Brad. Ito talagang COVID virus, napakalaking pagbabago, Brad, ang naidudulot nito sa buhay ng mga tao.
Alam mo Brad, nung wala pang pandemya, unti-unti nating nararamdaman ang pag-usbong at pagbago ng ating ekonomiya. Bumaba na ang presyo ng gasolina, bigas, at iba pang bilihin sa pamilihan.
Salamat, Brad, ah. Okay lang ba talaga sa'yo? Koleksyon mo to eh.
Okay lang talaga yan, Brad. Para sa'yo talaga yan.
Maraming salamat talaga, ilista mo na lang muna sa listahan ng mga utang na loob ko sa'yo.
Sus, ikaw pa, Brad.
Paano bang pag-aalaga nito, Brad, para tumagal?
Ano ba ang nilalagay mo ng isda, Brad?
Isang maliit na aquarium.
Ganun ba? Hindi talaga pwede yan. Mamamatay talaga ang klase ng isda na yan kung ilalagay mo sa maliit na aquarium. Dapat, kung aquarium ang lalagyan mo, katulad nito, kailangan mo talagang lagyan ng water pump o air pump at siguraduhin mo malinis ang tubig na gagamitin mo at kung maaari, iwasan na malagyan o mahaluan ng sabon o kaya't chlorine o kung ano pa para hindi makontaminate ang tubig.
Ganun ba, Brad? Nabanggit din sa akin yan ng kapatid ko kanina. Siguro nga isa yan sa mga dahilan. Kasi kapag magtatakip silim na, ay nakaugalian ni Mama na mag-spray ng anti-mosquito. Baka aksidente ring nahalo sa tubig, Brad, no? O siya, hindi na ako magtatagal ha. Maraming salamat talaga, Brad.
Tara, Brad. Ihahatid muna kita sa labas habang mag-aantay ka ng masasakyan mo.
Sige, Brad.
Tara, Brad. Brad, di ba si James yun?
Saan akong buhaton, asa forever nga imong giingon. Naapa ba ko'y mapaabot o wala na ko'y lapot sa takot.
Hindi maipaliwanag ni Presi ang kanyang naramdaman sa mga panahong yun. Oo naman, nadala ako dun Ang lungkot naman ng ending. Tingin mo talaga, bunso.
Thank you, ate. Pero, sabihin mo na sa akin yung sorry mo sa kwento.
Sige. Makinig ka, ha? Tungkol dito sa kwento mo, maayos ang pagkakahabi, in fairness. At yung pagbuo mo ng kwento, maayos din. May mga magaganda at exciting na ginampanan ang mga tauhan sa tagpuan. Pasok! May maayos na pagkasunod-sunod at syempre, hindi maligoy, di ba?
Yes, ate.
Nako, at ang estilo ng pagkakasulat, nako! Pang-Famas Award!
Nice!
Ang galing!
Salamat, ate.
No problem!
Kayo naman ni Charisse.
Okay. Tuloy ko muna tong concert ko.
Go, ate!
Ate, if I'll tell you that I have a problem, would you help me?
Siyempre naman! If you had told me that you needed help, hay nako, I would have come to rescue you always.
Salamat, ate. You're the best. If I were to start a new lifetime, I would still choose you as my ate.
Ang sweet-sweet mo naman.
Ito, ate, Paano ba ito i-transform into quadratic equation?
Yan lang pala. Madali lang yan. Madaling sagutin yan.
Wow, salamat ate ha. Ang galing mo talaga.
Wala naman yun. Ikaw pa.
O siya ate, balik ka na sa concert mo.
Okay, napuputol ang gugulo nyo.
Grade 9 Mathematics! Today is another brand new day to learn another lesson in mathematics.
Dito sa nag-iisang programa nyo, ang Tangkub. We learn all things, ang saya!
Ready na ba kayo?
Hooray! Now, let us begin. Now, let's play back the scene where Cherise asked for help from her Ate Cherry to answer her SLM in math.
Ito ate oh, paano ba ito i-transform into quadratic equation?
Yan lang pala. Madali lang yan. Madaling sagutin yan.
Wow, salamat ate ha. Ang galing mo talaga.
Cherry helped her sister Cherise to transform an equation into a quadratic equation. What was the equation again? Yes, it is x times the quantity of x minus 5 equals 36.
We are sure that just like Cherise, you also want to learn how to solve equation transformable to quadratic equation. So learners, stay tuned for we will tackle today another lesson, and that is solving equations transformable to quadratic equations.
And we will also learn the sum and the product of the roots of quadratic equations. In our previous lesson, we have learned that the standard form of the quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where x is the variable and a, b, and c are real numbers, and a must not be equal to 0.
Now, how are we going to solve quadratic equations which are not written in standard form? Let us solve first x times the quantity of x minus 5 equals 36. This quadratic equation is not written in standard form. To write the quadratic equation in standard form, we write first the given equation. We have x times the quantity of x minus 5 equals 36. Next, let us simplify the left side of the equation. Using the distributive property, we now have x times x equals x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. So we now have x squared minus 5x equals 36. Now, let us transform the equation into its standard form. We now have x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0. Now, let us try factoring the equation in finding its roots. Factoring the left side of the equation x squared minus 5x minus 36, we can have the quantity of x minus 9 times the quantity of x plus 4. We now have the quantity of x minus 9 times the quantity of x plus 4 equals 0. Equating each expression to 0, we now have x minus 9 equals 0 and x plus 4 equals 0. Solving each resulting equation, we now have the values of x. X is equal to 9 and x is equal to negative 4. Therefore, the roots or the solutions of the equation x times the quantity of x minus 5 equals 36, or x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0 in standard form are x is equal to 9 and x is equal to negative 4. These values make the given equation true.
Another example. Find the roots of the equation. This equation is a quadratic equation, but it is not written in standard form. Now, let us transform first this equation into the standard form of a quadratic equation. First, write the given equation. Next, simplify the square of a binomial. The quantity of x plus 5 squared is equal to x squared plus 10x plus 25. The quantity of x minus 2 squared is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. We now have x squared plus 10x plus 25 plus x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 37. Now, combine like terms. We now have 2x squared plus 6x plus 29 equals 37. Applying the addition property of equality or the APE, we now have 2x squared plus 6x plus 29 minus 37 equals 0. Then simplify. Now, the standard form of the given equation is 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0. In finding the roots of this equation, let us try factoring. Factor the left side of the equation, which is 2x squared plus 6x minus 8. The factors of 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 are the quantity of 2x minus 2 times the quantity of x plus 4. We now have the quantity of 2x minus 2 times the quantity of x plus 4 equals 0. Now, equate each factor to 0. We now have 2x minus 2 equals 0 or x plus 4 equals 0. Next, solve each resulting equation. Let us solve first 2x minus 2 equals 0. Applying the APE or the addition property of equality, we now have 2x equals 2. Applying the MPE or the multiplication property of equality, we now have 1/2 times 2x equals 2 times 1/2. Then simplify to solve for the value of x. 1/2 times 2x equals x, and 2 times 1/2 is equal to 1. So, we now have x equals 1. How about the equation x plus 4 equals 0? Let's apply the addition property of equality. We now have x is equal to -4. Therefore, the solutions of the given equation are x equals 1 and x equals -4. These values of x make the equation true.
How about if the given equation is a rational algebraic equation? For example, 6 over x plus x minus 3 over 4 equals 2. How to solve this and transform to a quadratic equation? Let us look at this solution. The given rational algebraic equation can be transformed into a quadratic equation. To solve this rational equation, we follow the following procedures. First, we write the given equation. Again, the given equation is 6 over x plus x minus 3 over 4 equals 2. Next, let us multiply the given equation by its least common denominator. Looking at the equation, the least common denominator, or the LCD, is equal to 4x. We now have 4x times the quantity of 6 over x plus x minus 3 over 4 equals 4x times 2. Multiplying, we now have 4x times 6 equals 24x. 4x times x minus 3 is equal to 4x times the quantity of x minus 3. 4x times 2 is equal to 8x. We now have 24x over x plus 4x times the quantity of x minus 3 over 4 equals 8x. Reducing the left side of the equation to its simplest form, we now have 24x over x is equal to 24. 4x times the quantity of x minus 3 over 4 is equal to x times the quantity of x minus 3, or x squared minus 3x. So we now have 24 plus x squared minus 3x equals 8x. Writing the equation in its standard form, we apply the addition property of equality, or the APE. We now have 24 plus x squared minus 3x minus 8x equals 0. Combining like terms, we have negative 3x minus 8x is equal to negative 11x. Therefore, the standard form of the equation is x squared minus 11x plus 24 equals 0. Now, let us try factoring the equation to find the roots. We now have the quantity of x minus 3 times the quantity of x minus 8 equals 0. Equating each expression into 0, we have x minus 3 equals 0 and x minus 8 equals 0. Solving each resulting equation, we now have the values of x. X is equal to positive 3 and x is equal to positive 8. If the obtained values of x make the equation true, then the solutions of the equation are x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 8.
Let us have another example. Solve 9 over x squared plus 2x equals 6 over x squared. This rational algebraic equation can be transformed into a quadratic equation. To solve the equation, the following procedure can be followed. First, write the given equation. Next, multiply both sides of the equation by the least common denominator, or the LCD. The LCD of the given equation is x squared times the quantity of x squared plus 2x. Sometimes, the LCD is a product of the denominators. We now have x squared times the quantity of x squared plus 2x times 9 over x squared plus 2x equals 6 over x squared times the LCD x squared times the quantity of x squared plus 2x. Then simplify both sides of the equation. X squared times the quantity of x squared plus 2x times 9 is equal to 9x squared times the quantity of x squared plus 2x over the denominator x squared plus 2x. 6 times the LCD x squared times the quantity of x squared plus 2x is equal to 6x squared times the quantity of x squared plus 2x over the denominator x squared. Then simplify. Cancel out common factors. In the left side of the equation, the common factor is x squared plus 2x. Cancel it out, and the remaining expression is 9x squared. In the right side of the equation, the common factor is x squared. Cancel it out. So, the remaining expression is 6 times the quantity of x squared plus 2x, or 6x squared plus 12x. We now have 9x squared equals 6x squared plus 12x. Write the resulting quadratic equation in standard form. We now have 3x squared minus 12x equals 0. Factor the left side of the equation. The factors of 3x squared minus 12x are 3x times the quantity of x minus 4. We now have 3x times the quantity of x minus 4 equals 0. Equate each factor to 0. We now have 3x equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0. Solve first 3x equals 0. The value of x is x equals 0. Then solve x minus 4 equals 0. The value of x is equal to 4. We now have the values of x, which are x equals 0 and x equals 4. Now, let us try to check whether the obtained values of x make the equation true. If x is equal to 4, then if x equals 0, then notice that x equals 4 is the solution, but x equals 0 is not. Thus, 0 is called an extraneous solution. Extraneous solution does not make the original equation true. It is the value of x or the value of the variable that emerges from the process of solving, but it does not make the original equation true. Therefore, the equation 9 over x squared plus 2x equals 6 over x squared has one solution, which is x is equal to 4.
Complicated? No. No, learners. To be able to answer the following activities, you will also need to understand the relationship between the coefficients and the roots of quadratic equation.
This time, let's proceed to the sum and the product of the roots or solutions of quadratic equations. We will now discuss on how the sum and the product of the roots of the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 can be determined using the coefficients a, b, and c. The sum of the roots of a quadratic equation is equal to the inverse of the coefficient of the second term divided by the leading coefficient. That is, sum of the roots is equal to negative b over a. The product of the roots of a quadratic equation is equal to the constant term divided by the leading coefficient. The product of the roots is equal to c over a.
Now, let us use the quadratic equations we had earlier as our examples. Find the sum and the product of roots of the quadratic equation x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0. Given the equation x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0, it gives the value of a 1, b equal to negative 5, and c equal to negative 36. Now, using the formula of the sum of the roots, we now have negative b over a. Substituting the values of b and a, we now have negative times negative 5 over 1. Negative times negative 5 is equal to positive 5. We now have 5 over 1. 5 over 1 or 5 divided by 1 is equal to positive 5. Therefore, the sum of the roots of the given equation is equal to 5. Now, what about the product? Using the formula of the product of the roots, we now have c over a. Substituting the values of c and a, we now have negative 36 over 1. Negative 36 over 1 or negative 36 divided by 1 is equal to negative 36. Therefore, the product of the roots of the given equation is equal to negative 36. To check, Earlier, we already solved the roots or the solutions of x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0. These are 9 and negative 4. Let's take a look back on the solutions. Now, if we add the two roots 9 and negative 4, we now have 9 plus negative 4, it is equal to positive 5. And if we multiply the two roots 9 and negative 4, we have 9 times negative 4 is equal to negative 36. Therefore, the sum and product of the roots of the equation x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0 are 5 and negative 36 respectively.
Now learners, it's your turn to try. Find the sum and the product of the roots of the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0. Correct! The sum of the roots is negative 3, while the product of the roots is negative 4. How did we get the answer? Let's check. Given the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0, we get a equals 2, b equals 6, and c equals negative 8. The formula for the sum of the roots is negative b over a. Substituting the value of b and the value of a, we now have negative times 6 over 2. Simplify. Negative times 6 is negative 6. We now have negative 6 over 2. Negative 6 over 2 or negative 6 divided by 2 is equal to negative 3. Therefore, the sum of the roots of the given quadratic equation is negative 3. How about the product of the roots? The formula for the product of the roots is c over a. Substituting the value of c and the value of a in the formula, we now have negative 8 over 2. Negative 8 over 2 or negative 8 divided by 2 is equal to negative 4. Earlier, we already solved the roots or solutions of the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0. These are 1 and negative 4. Look at this solution. If we add the roots 1 and negative 4, the sum is negative 3. If we multiply the roots 1 and negative 4, the product is negative 4. Therefore, the sum and the product of the roots of the given quadratic equation 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0 are negative 3 and negative 4 respectively. Easy, right? Now, even if we don't solve for the roots of quadratic equations, we can still determine the sum and product of its roots. Now, since you know already how to solve equations transformable to quadratic equations and how to get the sum and the product of the roots of the quadratic equations, it's time to get your activity sheet in this lesson and answer the given activity. Let us read the directions. Solve the following equations transformable to quadratic equations. Write each in standard form. Then use the values of a, b, and c in determining the sum and product of its roots. Take your time in answering the activity. To end, always remember that life is like math. We also undergo transformation in becoming a better version of ourselves.
Thus, it is the product of embracing every challenge that comes along our way. Now, grade 10 learners, stay tuned and get ready for Math 10 is coming next.
Good luck and God bless everyone!
Inihahandog ng Dibisyon ng Tangkub City ang iba't ibang kwento, aral, at kaalaman habang kayo ay nasa inyong mga tahanan. TV-based instruction.
Ayan, malapit na akong matapos. Maipapaliwanag ko na kay Loli kung ano ang kailangan niyang gawin para magawa niya ng maayos ang drill nila para sa paaralan.
Ate, ang ganda naman yan. Masyado mo namang ginalingan ang paggawa ng bulkan. Baka hindi naman niniwala ang guro ko at mga kaklase na ako ang gumawa niyan.
Okay lang yan, Loli. Ang mahalaga ay maisagawa mo ng maayos ang paggawa ng bulkan. Halika na, gagawin na natin. Una, gagawa tayo ng isang solution. 1/4 cup ng tubig. 1/4 cup ng suka. Ilang patak ng dishwashing liquid. At ilang patak ng pulang food coloring. Pagkatapos, ay ilagay na natin ang boteng ito sa gitna ng bulkan. Tapos, kumuha tayo ng isang maliit na square ng toilet paper sa gitna nito. I-roll yun natin ito, ikutin ang dulo para masigurado ang laman ng baking soda. At paghandaan ka na sa iyong presentasyon sa klase, ilaglag mo na ang baking soda at viola! Sasabog na ang bulkan.
ate? Sigurado akong perfect ang score na ibibigay ni Miss Esmeralda sa akin.
Mana ka talaga sa kuya mo. Mataas ang kumpiyansa sa sarili.
Matanong ko lang ate. Pag may volcanic eruption ba, may lindol din po ba?
Ay nako, Loli. Expected yan. Alam mo naman siguro kung ano yung gagawin pag may lindol, di ba? Tandaan mo lang na kailangan mong magtago sa ilalim ng matibay na furniture o tumabi ka sa mga dingding sa loob ng bahay. Aasahang may aftershock, kaya lumabas at lumayo sa mga gusali. Maaring hindi agad dumating ang mga rescuer. Kaya sisikapin mo magligtas ng iba kung kaya mo.
Ang alam ko lang kasi ate, ang drop, cover, and hold. The best ka talaga ate sa general info at current events. Alis na ako ate at may pasok pa ako.
Sige Loli, mag-ingat ka. Bye!
Magandang umaga sa lahat.
Good morning,
Ngayong araw na ito ay magkakaroon tayo ng isang talakayan patungkol sa isyong pandaigdig. Kaya naman, pumunta kayo sa inyong grupo at bawat grupo ay may isang representative para bubunot sa inyong paksang tatalakayin.
Okay guys, ang nabunot nating paksa ay tungkol sa pandemya. So, para mas maganda ang ating output na ibabahagi sa klase, ay iminumungkahi ko na lahat ay magbigay ng sariling pananaw. At bilang isang team leader nyo, ay tatawagin ko kayo isa-isa para makapagbigay ng mga ideya. Sisimulan natin yan kay Odette.
Ang idea ko ay gawin nating malikain ang ating report. Pwede tayong gumawa ng maikling talk show. Pero bago tayo pumunta sa mga detalye, nais kong ibahagi muna ang aking nalalaman. Hindi na bago ang pandemya. Kagaya ng COVID-19, ang misteryosong sakit na ito ay nagmula sa Wuhan, China, na kumitil na ng 1.6 million katao sa buong mundo.
Wow! Ang galing mo naman, Odette. Ikaw, Franco, may dadagdag ka ba?
Actually, nangangamba ako dahil baka parang kabuting nagsusugutan ang mga piking gamot at food supplement para sa COVID-19.
Don't worry about it, Franco. Actually, there are national and international government agencies and private organizations that implement programs for consumers' protection, just like FDA, BFAD, WHO, and DOH, and the likes.
Napakaganda talaga ng ating talakayan. Pero, si Carmela na lang ata hindi pa nakapagsasalita. May gusto ka pang idagdag?
Ang akin lang naman ay gumawa tayo ng table para masigurado na magagawa talaga natin ang task on time. At gusto kong mag-comment sa naibahagi ni Franco. Talagang dapat gamitin ng tao ang likas na batas moral para magkaroon siya ng tamang pagpapasya at pagkilos. Biruin nyo, paano masisikmura ng ibang tao na mandaya sa gitna pa ng pandemya?
Hindi talaga lahat ng tao ay nakikinig sa kabutihang nasa kanilang puso. Bagkus ay dinidiktahan pa ito. O siya, may meeting tayo pagkatapos ng klase natin ngayong hapon ha. Doon na tayo sa bahay. Okay lang ba sa inyo mga ka-groupmates?
Okay, yes. See you later. 5 minuto na lang pala ang natitira. Let's call it a day. See you sa susunod na tagpo. Siguraduhin ninyo na pagbubutihan ninyo ang inyong presentasyon. Napaalam na sa lahat.
Bye-bye!
Napansin mo ba ang sequence ng paglabas, Lolita?
Oo naman, Lelia.
Best in math ka nung high school, di ba? So, ano ang 10th term given that sequence?
512. I'm pretty sure.
Naks! Seryosong edukasyon, isusulong. Lolita Sunshin, magna cum laude.
Siyempre, that's our friendship goal for the future.
For the future!
Hello! Welcome back mga grade 10 mathematics. Today is another brand new day to learn another lesson in mathematics.
Dito sa nag-iisang programa nyo,
Ang TANGKUB. We learn all things ang saya. Ready na ba kayo?
hooray! Now, let us begin. Let's play back the scene where Lilia asked Lolita for the 10th term of the sequence they have observed.
Napansin mo ba ang sequence ng paglabas, Lolita?
Oo naman, Lelia.
Best in math ka nung high school, di ba? So, ano ang 10th term given that sequence?
512. I'm pretty sure.
Naks! Seryosong edukasyon, isusulong. Lolita Sunshin, magna cum laude.
Siyempre, that's our friendship goal for the future.
For the future!
Right, the sequence they have observed shows 1, 2, and 4. Again, Binibining Masha came out first, followed by Franco and Carmela, then followed by their 4 classmates. Using our knowledge on the types of number sequences we had on our previous episodes, this sequence shows a geometric sequence.
Lilia is correct. The 10th term of the sequence is 512. But how did they find out the 10th term of the sequence? Or what do you think is the 90th or 100th term of the sequence? Now, learners, clear your thoughts as we will tackle another lesson today, and that is the nth term and the sum of the terms of an arithmetic and geometric sequences. Using the formula of arithmetic sequence, we can derive the value of a sub n. We will now have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus the quantity of n minus 1 times d, where a sub n is equal to the nth term, a sub 1 is equal to the first term, n is equal to the number of terms, and d is equal to the common difference.
Let's have an example. Find the 100th term of the arithmetic sequence -2, -5, -8, -11, and so on. Identify what are given and what is to be determined. We have a sub 1 equals -2, the first term. N, or the number of terms, is 100. D, or the common difference, is -3. A sub n, or the unknown. So we're looking for the 100th term, or the a sub n. To solve, use this formula. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus the quantity of n minus 1 times d. Substitute the given to the formula. We now have a sub 100 since we're looking for a sub n, or the 100th term of the given sequence, equals -2 plus 100 minus 1 times negative 3. Then simplify. Simplify first the problem inside the parentheses. 100 minus 1 is 99. We now have a sub 100 equals negative 2 plus 99 times negative 3. Multiply 99 and negative 3. The result is negative 297. We now have a sub 100 equals negative 2 plus negative 297. Add negative 2 and negative 297. We now have a sub 100 equals negative 299. Therefore, the 100th term of the given sequence, negative 2, negative 5, negative 8, negative 11, and so on, is negative 299.
Easy, right? Now, it's your turn to try. Find the 50th term of an arithmetic sequence 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. Correct! The 50th term of the given sequence is 250. How did we get 250? Let us check. Identifying the given terms, we have a sub 1 is equal to 5, n is equal to 50 since we are looking for the 50th term. D is equal to 5, and a sub n is equal to the 50th term. Using the formula, we now have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus the quantity of n minus 1 times d. Substituting the given, we have a sub 50 is equal to 5 plus the quantity of 50 minus 1 times the quantity of 5. Simplifying, 50 minus 1 is equal to 49. We have a sub 50 is equal to 5 plus 49 times 5. 49 times 5 is equal to 245. So we have a sub 50 is equal to 5 plus 245. 5 plus 245 is equal to 250. Therefore, the 50th term of the sequence 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 is equal to 250.
Now, what about the 8th term of the sequence 1, 3, 9, and so on? Yes, the sequence is already a geometric sequence with a common ratio 3. So how are we going to determine easily the 8th term of the given sequence? Yes, we have to use this formula. A sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the power of n minus 1. Let us identify first the given. A sub 1, or the first term in the given sequence, is 1. N, or the number of terms, is 8. And r, or the common ratio, is 3. Let's substitute the given values in the formula. We now have a sub 8, or the 8th term, equals 1 times 3 to the power of 8 minus 1. Simplify first the exponent 8 minus 1. That is 7. We now have a sub 8 equals 1 times 3 to the power of 7. 3 to the power of 7 is 2,187. We now have a sub 8 equals 1 times 2,187. 1 times 2,187 is equal to 2,187. Therefore, the eighth term or a sub 8 of the given sequence 1, 3, 9, and so on is 2,187.
How about this geometric sequence? 2, negative 6, 18, negative 54. What is the 10th term of the sequence? So first, let us identify the given. A sub 1 is equal to 2, N is equal to 10, and R is equal to negative 3. Using the formula in finding the nth term of a geometric sequence, we have A sub n is equal to A sub 1 times R to the power of n minus 1. Substituting the values given, we have A sub 10 is equal to 2 times negative 3 to the power of 10 minus 1. Simplifying the exponent 10 minus 1, that is equal to 9. So we have A sub 10 is equal to 2 times negative 3 to the power of 9. Negative 3 to the power of 9 is equal to negative 19,683. So we have A sub 10 is equal to 2 times negative 19,683. 2 times negative 19,683 is equal to negative 39,366. Therefore, the 10th term of the geometric sequence 2, negative 6, 18, negative 54 is negative 39,366.
Now, let us proceed to the sum of the terms of the arithmetic sequence and the geometric sequence. Series is an indicated sum of terms in a sequence. An arithmetic series is the sum of the terms of an arithmetic sequence, while a geometric series is the sum of the terms of a geometric sequence. There are two notations we can use to present arithmetic series. First is using the sum of the nth term, denoting S sub n. Second, using the sigma notation or the summation symbol. Example, given this series 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, we can present this series as S sub 4 equals 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, or using the sigma notation like this. This can be read as the summation of n as n goes from 1 to 4.
The sum of the terms of arithmetic sequence may be represented using this formula. S sub n is equal to n over 2 times the quantity of 2 times A sub 1 plus the quantity of n minus 1 times the quantity of D, where S is for sum and n is for the first nth term. Example, add up the first 10 terms of the arithmetic sequence 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, and so on. Identifying the given values, we have A sub 1 is equal to 1, n is equal to 10 since we are adding up the first 10 terms of the arithmetic sequence. D is equal to 3. Applying the formula, we now have S sub n is equal to n over 2 times the quantity of 2 times A sub 1 plus the quantity of n minus 1 times the quantity of D. Substituting the values, we have S sub 10 is equal to 10 over 2 times the quantity of 2 times 1 plus the quantity of 10 minus 1 times the quantity of 3. Simplifying, we have 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5, 2 times 1 is equal to 2, and 10 minus 1 is equal to 9. We now have S sub 10 is equal to 5 times the quantity of 2 plus 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is equal to 27. So we have S sub 10 is equal to 5 times the quantity of 2 plus 27. 2 plus 27 is equal to 29. So we have S sub 10 is equal to 5 times 29. 5 times 29 is equal to 145. Therefore, the sum of the first 10 terms of the arithmetic sequence 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, and so on is 145.
Now, learners, it's your turn to try. What is the arithmetic series or sum of the first 20 terms of the counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on? Correct! The sum of the first 20 terms of the counting numbers or S sub 20 is equal to 210. To get the answer, we use the formula of the arithmetic series. S sub n equals n over 2 times the quantity of 2a sub 1 plus the quantity of n minus 1 times d. We now have S sub 20, the sum of the first 20 terms of the given arithmetic series, equals 20, which is the number of terms, over 2 times the quantity of 2 times 1, or a sub 1, plus the quantity of 20, the number of terms, minus 1 times 1, which is the common difference. Then simplify. Since 20 over 2 is 10, and 2 times 1 is 2, and 20 minus 1 is 19, we now have S sub 20 equals 10 times the quantity of 2 plus 19 times 1. 19 times 1 is 19. We now have S sub 20 equals 10 times the quantity of 2 plus 19. 2 plus 19 is 21. We now have S sub 20 equals 10 times 21. 10 times 21 is 210. We now have S sub 20 is equal to 210. Therefore, the sum of the first 20 terms of the counting numbers, or S sub 20, is equal to 210.
As with arithmetic series, geometric series can also be solved using a formula. For geometric series, we have S sub n is equal to a sub 1 times the quantity of 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r, where S is for sum and n is for the first nth term. Let us have example. Find the sum of the first 10 terms of the geometric sequence 3, 6, 12, 24, and so on. Let us identify first the given values. A sub 1 is equal to 3. R is equal to 2. N is equal to 10 since we are finding the sum of the first 10 terms. Applying the formula, we now have S sub n is equal to A sub 1 times the quantity of 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. Substituting the given values, we now have S sub 10 is equal to 3 times the quantity of 1 minus 2 to the power of 10 over 1 minus 2. Simplifying, 2 to the power of 10 is equal to 1024. We now have S sub 10 is equal to 3 times the quantity of 1 minus 1024 over 1 minus 2. 1 minus 1024 is equal to negative 1023. 1 minus 2 is equal to negative 1. We now have S sub 10 is equal to 3 times negative 1023 over negative 1. 3 times negative 1023 is equal to negative 3069. We now have S sub 10 is equal to negative 3069 over negative 1. Negative 3069 over negative 1 or negative 3069 divided by negative 1 is equal to positive 3069. Therefore, the sum of the first 10 terms of the geometric sequence 3, 6, 12, 24, and so on is 3069.
Easy, right? Let us all be guided with formulas.
Now, it's your turn to try, learners.
Find the sum of the first 7 terms of the geometric sequence 3, negative 6, 12, negative 24, and so on. Correct! The sum is 129. Let's check how we get the answer. Let us use this formula in finding the geometric series of the given geometric sequence. S sub n equals A sub 1 times the quantity of 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. We now have S sub 7 since we are looking for the sum of the first 7 terms of the given geometric sequence equals 3, the first term of the given sequence, times the quantity of 1 minus negative 2, which is the common ratio of the given sequence, to the power of 7, over 1 minus the common ratio, which is negative 2. Then simplify. Since negative 2 to the power of 7 is negative 128, and 1 minus negative 2 is 1 plus 2, we now have S sub 7 equals 3 times the quantity of 1 minus negative 128 over 1 plus 2. Since 1 minus negative 128 is 1 plus 128, and 1 plus 2 in the denominator is 3, we now have S sub 7 equals 3 times the quantity of 1 plus 128 over 3. 1 plus 128 is 129. We now have S sub 7 equals 3 times 129 over 3. 3 times 129 is 387. We now have S sub 7 equals 387 over 3. And 387 over 3 is 129. Therefore, the sum of the first 7 terms of the geometric sequence 3, negative 6, 12, negative 24, and so on is 129.
Given an arithmetic sequence 1, 2, 3. The arithmetic series of this shows 1 plus 2 plus 3. This is equal to 6. Thus, the arithmetic series of this sequence 1, 2, 3 is equal to 6.
What about this geometric sequence? 1, 2, 4. The geometric series of this shows 1 plus 2 plus 4. This is equal to 7. Thus, the geometric series of the given geometric sequence 1, 2, and 4 is equal to 7. This time, kindly open your activity sheet in this lesson.
Complete the following arithmetic and geometric sequence. Find its 8th and 10th term and the sum of the first 10 terms. Show your solutions. Just take your time in answering your activity. Now, if you have questions or clarifications, you may contact the number of your teacher printed below your activity sheets.
To end, always remember that just like in mathematics, life is a changing sequence of situations.
If you do not change something, then something will change you.
Good luck and God bless everyone!
you have learned the most essential lessons you need to master. See you on our next episodes. This has been Ang Tangkub.
It's tangkub, tangkub, tangkub time. We learn all things, it's very fun, masaya. Tutok na.
Kung gusto mong maglingaw-lingaw, mga tawag magloling hayaw, mag-joyride na. Uba na ang imong barkada, silingan o pamilya, mag-joyride na. Sinating untang palibot, mga lugar sulod sa tanggob, mag-ubanta. Silang gato makilaw, sa sanabog sa pulaw, laagunta. Labi na yun sa huyuhoy, ugnang dapit daghan og kahoy, talan na. Maglibot tango, maglibot tango kita. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maghihiusa, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel better. Kung gusto ka og entertainment, for fun and for enjoyment, no problem ka. Sinagduloy among pambato, kumusayo smart kaayo, believe you ka. Panahon sab sa Disyembre, super cute ka aligre, malingaw gyud ka. Fireworks display daghang ganahan, musidlak sa kalangitan, mapawag gyud ka. Christmas symbols, capital of the Philippines. Ninira na ninyo makita, friends, diba? Diri sa tanggop, maglibot tanggop kita. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maghihiusa, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel better. Makita, friends, diba? Happy sa tanggop, maglibot tanggop kita. Maglipay-lipay, magsakay-sakay tala. Maglibot tanggop, maglibot tanggop kita. Maglibot tango, maglibot tango kita. Maglibot tango, maglibot tango kita. Maghihiusa, maghihigala. Let's get together, make life feel